What if?
All right, welcome back. We're having our final conversation this morning, and as we promised, it's all about the Queen of the Bay Belize Rural Pageant, set to take place this weekend, Paul.
Wonderful, exciting stuff.
And of course, we can't talk about the pageant without having the lovely delegates here with us and the reigning queen, Miss Belize Rural. Ladies, first off, you all look so stunning. I love the colors, I love the smiles, beautiful. I imagine all of this has been a build up to this weekend, yes? But before we even get into a bit of the introduction, I want to speak first to Kendall Morgan, and she is the reigning Queen of the Bay Belize Rural Queen. Kendall, good morning.
Good morning.
Talk to us a little bit about what this pageant means, because if I understand correctly, this pageant is the lead up to the National Queen of the Bay pageant, correct? Which you are also the queen for.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
So for me, this pageant is more than just an open door, but it has given me a lot of opportunities, and not only that, but you can be an inspiration to many children in your community, and not only your community, but the other communities you represent. And for that, you have people who support you. The entire community will support you, whether you're from Hattieville or Sand Hill or Borough Boom. All the communities along the Northern Highway and the Western Highway will support you. So this title is more than just an open door or more than just a small journey, but it is a, how do I say it? I'll say a pinpoint, you know? That's just a base of where you are going to start, and you're going to lead to something and open a bigger door for yourself.
And I mean, you've had quite an experience, as I mentioned, being crowned Miss Belize Rural,
Yes.
and then transitioning into the National Queen of the Bay pageant and winning that too. You stole a lot of our hearts, Kendall, so we have to say congratulations to you, the reign that you had. We felt your presence, and I'm excited to see what happens beyond that. But we do have a pageant, and someone has to take that crown, girl.
Yes.
So I'll ask the ladies to introduce themselves. I can call their names, but I'd like for them to give their own introduction. Let's begin with you.
Good morning, Belize. My name is Deanni Laing, representing Western Paradise Village.
Good morning, Belize. My name is Julissa Zuniga, and I am representing the village of Ladyville.
Good morning, Belize. My name is Jahzara Broaster, and I'm representing Borough Boom Village.
Good morning, Belize. My name is Aeisha Moreira, and I am representing the entire Belize River Valley.
All right. Well, she said no, dummy. Whole River Valley. Lovely. Ladies, thank you so much for introducing yourselves. I think one of the obvious questions that people normally ask whenever we're talking pageants is, what prompted the interest in the first place? Some of you might be pageant girlies, and some of you, like Kendall, might have come from a background of athletics, you know? So I'm always intrigued to know why you decided to take on this journey. And that, I will call it a journey because it looks like it's been quite an experience based on what I've been observing on social media. But let's begin with you, Deanni. Why pageant?
Well, what prompted me to be a part of the Miss Belize Rural pageant was the encouragement of those who believed in me and who have seen how much I have been advocating for youth empowerment through entrepreneurship. I love pageantry, but I was never the kind to see myself on the stage, just knowing how rigorous it can be. But I also saw the brighter side of pageantry, how much impact it has on your personal and professional development. And so I decided to give it a shot, take part in the Miss Belize Rural pageant to see how I can bring my advocacy from being on social media to being in the community and having direct impact on the lives of not only youths but the entire communities at large.
Yeah. And yourself?
Well, for me, pageantry is something that I've heard people tell me so much times growing up, like, oh, you'll be Miss Belize, you'll be this, you'll be that. I take it as a joke. Never have I ever imagined that I'd be here. I mean, I didn't even know, sorry Kendall, I didn't even know that Kendall was our Queen of the Bay. I don't keep up with pageantry.
Well, you didn't know until now?
Yes, until I actually am like, oh, that's our queen. That's our queen. I didn't know. So this is all, you know, something very new to me, but I can gladly say that it has made me grow as a person. I mean, I saw parts of my rural community that I never saw before. I got to see natural stuff. I got to see so many people and just my community and my country in a different perspective. So that's what I love about pageantry, and I'm so glad that I'm here. Even if sometimes it's a bit overwhelming, but I'm happy that I'm here.
It's an experience, I think, and I think particularly the Queen of the Bay pageant is one, fair to say, different from all the other pageants that we have. It's rooted in a bit of colonial history, so the way that the pageant is even presented is different from the others. I mean, if you think about this painstaking curtsy that has been around for decades. But it is something that we all look forward to as much as it is brutal. Jahzara, let's get your interest. Why did you decide to be a part of this pageant?
Well, pageantry has, much like Julissa, has never been something I've been into. My grandmother would always take me to Queen of the Bay and I would never pay attention. I would just be running around playing with the other kids. But when the opportunity arose, I took it to do it for my grandmother. But not only that, but when I heard about the opportunity, I researched more and I saw that it has a huge impact on your community. And I would love to leave a lasting impact before, you know, I die, or, you know, leave something for my community. And I've always been very passionate about giving a voice to children. I've seen so many children being silenced and I see the effects it has on them. So knowing that this opportunity, I can really make a difference in my community and in this beautiful country, Belize, I decided, you know what, let's not do it for myself, but for all those young children who are suffering in silence.
Let's get you, Aeisha.
Hi, just kind of nervous. But so like two of the other delegates and Queen Kendall herself, I have never been the type of person to pay much attention to pageantry or pageants on a whole. Growing up, I've been more of the tomboyish type, so this came as a shock to almost my entire family and my friends. So what I would say prompted me to join this pageant was actually Queen Kendall herself, because of seeing that she doesn't have history in pageantry, and now this was some of her first experience coming to see how she's won and how far she has come and grown as a person. You know, that inspired me in saying that not just because I didn't grow up with a history of pageant or the history of doing more girly things, you know, that I wouldn't be able to do something like this. I decided to do this to sort of inspire children and other people, grown people, to step outside of their comfort zone and to try something new, as in saying that, you know, I've just recently turned 20, starting a new chapter of my life. I wanted to try new things, to try to become a different person, try to find myself more. And I also wanted to join this pageant in seeing, after I did my research, I found that, as mentioned, it's not like the other pageants. You know, it's more modest, it's more indulged with history of the country itself. So that's just something that I wanted to learn more about myself, and I don't see a better way to learn than to actually be in the pageant itself.
What I appreciate is that each one of you, your representation goes beyond beauty. There's always this idea that pageantry is all about beauty and how good you could smile and how well structured your nose and your jawbone and all of that is. But you all have a representation beyond beauty, and each one of you, just from hearing you, you're thinking about your community, you're thinking about impact and lasting impact, you're thinking about influencing those in front of you as well as those behind you. And that's a good thing. Let's talk a bit about what the learning experience has been like, especially for those who haven't really had an interest in pageantry. What has the learning experience been like? What is something that you've learned through this experience that you will take with you beyond this weekend, even if, say, you're not selected to represent Belize Rural? Actually, stop there. Let's start from that side.
So throughout this journey, I've learned a lot. And I think that we can all agree that we have all come a long way since meeting for the first time, and all of us. Then we've learned a lot in small things like our posture, how we talk, how we walk. I think I've learned and grown as a person in the way that I carry myself, in the way that I speak, in the way that I just, live day to day, in saying that I know now that there is a spotlight on myself and all the other delegates, so we have to really pay attention to the things that we are doing, saying, and putting out there on things such as social media. So these are just some of the small things that I've learned along the way, that even the smallest thing that you say can have the biggest impact on somebody.
That's good. That'll get you a long way. So?
Well, for me, I do agree with Aeisha. You learn that everything you do has an impact on others. I feel like in today's society, we forget that when we post, there's someone on the other side of that screen seeing it, and it can affect them in ways that you don't even know. So before you post, you must think about the other person and how you would feel, have empathy.
Yes.
I love that.
With me, honestly, right now in this journey, thanks to my committee, I feel like a tourist in my own country.
Nice.
Like, they take us to the most beautiful places, and that's what I love about it. Like, I have to boast about my committee. Like, I just feel like a tourist. I love it. And the way how I've grown is like, to be honest, I've always been a very confident person, but being in this pageant just boosted like through the roof. I mean, I got to learn they taught me more about myself more than I myself even knew, like how to carry myself, how do we sit, how do we speak to certain people, how do we approach certain people, how to voice yourself, how to be more confident when you're speaking, and everything. So that's it with me.
Deanni?
What I have taken away from this experience is there are several things. Firstly, I have been on this personal transformation journey for a year, and this pageant is like the pinnacle of completing that 1 year transformation. And so stepping completely out of my comfort zone to channel a new avenue for my advocacy really let me see myself in a whole new light. I got to work on my mental health. I think one of the biggest deterrents for me in pageantry was how much it can affect you internally. The mindset that you have about yourself, maybe I'm not good enough, I can't do the curtsy slow enough, I want to give up because like I can't see myself doing the best. But I really got to look in the mirror and talk to myself in the way that I want to present myself. I am confident, I am strong, I will do a good curtsy, I will be the queen even if I don't get the crown, I will carry myself as such after this. So it really allows, not only for myself, but for all of us here, allows us to look deeper within than what we've ever thought we've seen ourselves before.
That's such a powerful statement, Deanni. And I have to commend all of you ladies for exemplifying what I think this pageant seeks to showcase. But you mentioned something really important. You spoke about advocacy that is important to you. And what we're observing, Paul, is a shift in, as you mentioned, how pageants are looked upon as just being something on the surface, beauty. Are you beautiful enough to be a queen? Now we're seeing queens, and because you ladies all are queens, caring about something and really showing the world that it's worth caring about something. So I know that each of you have your own individual advocacy and your platform that you're speaking on. Let's talk about those particular advocacies and things that you care about. Let's begin with you, Deanni, since you mentioned it.
So my advocacy is empowering youths through entrepreneurship. Many may know that I'm no stranger to speaking about youth entrepreneurship. And for almost 4 years, this year will make 4 years, I've been doing my online talk show, 5 Minutes with Dee. And I said, you know what, I want to be able to do things like workshops, trainings, networking events for young people so that they can be aware of what are the things out there that I can use to leverage my business to enhance my personal development. A part of our pageant journey, we were encouraged to do activities. I visited the Belize Rural Primary School Upper Division, and I spoke with the kids, and something that really stunned me and sparked more inspiration was I asked the kids, who raise your hand if you want to be an entrepreneur, and there were no hands. So I said, raise your hand if you want to own your own business, and then you start seeing hands. And that really shows you how much we have to do, what more we have to do in order to foster that mentality within our children, within the youths. And that is what is driving me to get the crown for Miss Belize Rural pageant.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah. Raise your hand if you want to be an entrepreneur. All right, we'll see. We have here. Well, let's get you, Julissa. What is your cause?
My advocacy is empowering entrepreneurship through young men and women. And what deeply, deeply inspired me was the fact that from 15 years old, I started my own business. And this was like the most funniest thing. Like, when I tell people, they don't believe it. But there was this time my dad came, and when he usually comes to Belize, he just gives us a little bit of money. He has 3 princesses, and he gives us this money, and I'm like, you know what? He brought everything I wanted, so what do I do with this $30? Keep in mind, my family has bosses, but like we're not really close to say, oh, I want to be like this, I want to be like that. So, I went right there and let's go buy a lipak of sweet, dashing son chamoy, carry that isi go sell. For 2 weeks, I had my bag packed up with sweets and what's not. Then summer came, and I just loved the feeling of being my own boss. And I'm like, I'm a type of female that I'm not sure why, but I don't really connect with friends and what's not. So multiple times I find myself in situations whereby I listen to people talk, and sometimes they judge because they're like, oh, you're doing too much, or they just don't have the same mentality as me. And I sit back and I'm like, if you guys only knew how much you could express yourself, how much more you could do for yourself. So I saw the pageant as a perfect opportunity to just encourage, young people, men and women, to be your own boss, to get out of this norm that our country has for us that, oh, as you come out of high school, go find a job. No. Explore and get on your feet and try to test out your options. I'm not saying that entrepreneurship is for everybody, and I'm not saying that a 9-to-5 is wrong, but try to explore your options, because being a boss is an amazing feeling.
Yeah.
Well, for me, my advocacy is increasing the voices of children. The reason I decided to do this advocacy, sorry, I'll take a more sad turn to this. I've had so many people in my life or friends that have been raped or been hurt, and they didn't have no one to tell. Like, the people that are supposed to protect you aren't there for them. And thankfully, I have a mother that I had the space. So I was able to take up space in my family to speak. So, but they didn't have that. And so I feel like by giving children the voice from the beginning, to allowing them to take up space, it will lessen the cases of rape or abuse, because they'll know to speak up. They'll know that they have a person that will listen to them and that will make sure that whatever problems they're feeling or whatever troubles they're having, that they will work together with them for. So that's the reason I decided to work on this advocacy. And honestly, I really hope that if I get to be the next Miss Rural Queen of the Bay, that I'm able to reach kids and truly inspire them and inspire parents and the people that are supposed to protect us to truly make a difference. Don't tell children that they're supposed to be silent, seen and not heard. You are pushing them in a space that they're just going to suffer in silence, and you never know the true pain that these children are going through. So that's why I'm pushing, and I'm really hoping that I can make a difference in our society.
Important.
This is going to be a tough judging process. Let's hear you, Aeisha.
All right, so my advocacy focuses on mental health awareness, not just with youth, but with other people. So having suffering some mental health issues myself and having people in my family, a lot of my friends, and other individuals that I may not know of, I know that mental health has taken a big toll on the country of Belize, within the youth and within older people, because it's not spoken of about enough. We're not educated enough about it. I only recently started discovering and knowing about my own mental health issues and others. And it's sad that, it is somewhat spoken of in school, but that's not what it's referred to as. So when I started, finding out about mental health issues, about some of the ones that I have and that some people in my life also share, it was kind of difficult in having to do that self-research and also being able to identify others and finding out the reason that I may think the way that I do or do certain things that I do. So I just wanted to kind of shed light on this topic, maybe inspire new conversations about mental health, have people become aware of the different mental health issues, have them be aware that having negative or more negative mental health issues isn't necessarily a bad thing. And there are ways to cope. There is positive and negative mental health, and in just finding the differences between them, I just wanted to kind of, inspire conversations about this. Maybe even talk to children or have this be a topic in school or taken more seriously, because a lot of the things in the country, such as something big in the country, crime rates, murder rates, it's a lot of people out there that aren't, I won't say not okay mentally, but are dealing with their own things, are struggling with their own things. Everybody has their own battles, but it's in finding a way to cope, or a positive way to cope at that. So I just, wanted to shed some light on this.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Well, ladies, this has been a great conversation. I wish we had more time to really touch on some of the segments that we can expect. But Queen Kendall, I'll give you the opportunity to have our viewers know where to be this weekend, what date, what time, and of course, what they can expect. Just a little bit from the pageant.
Well, this weekend there will be Miss Belize Royal Pageant at Tobal Auditorium, 7 p.m. in Ladyville. Guys, be there. There will be tons of excitement. Come and watch these ladies do their best, and who will be my next successor.
And I mean, if you heard them just now, Paul, you already know that it's going to be
tough.
Quite a challenging judging process. We have beauty and brains here, and I have to say congratulations to each one of you in advance, because as we mentioned, you're all queens, but also congratulations to the committee for selecting such an amazing delegation this year. So all the best. All right, we're going to take our final break, and when we come back, we wrap things up.